Hello everybody, welcome back.
Morning.
It's feeling definitely autumnal now.
Yeah, it's about 7:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go long way today.
Yeah, long way. 16 miles and 14 locks.
And it's horrible weather.
Yeah. It's annoying because the last couple of days has been really nice.
Yeah. Always
Days
is.
you've had off. And drizzling, slightly drizzling. At the moment it's really cold. Like 13 degrees. It's really cold for it.
So 13 degrees isn't that cold, but when you've had the summer.
You've only just woken up. So
Well, only just woken up. I woke up 5 o'clock for a wee, and then 6 o'clock the planes. Oh, you can hear one now. Just
I wanted to get off earlier.
every couple of minutes they fly over.
But obviously Dad's here, so he leaves at 8 o'clock. Just waiting for him to get ready now, and then he's off and we're off. And, God.
Yeah, let's hope it stays. It's alright if it stays like this. We just don't want it pouring with rain. It's going to be.
No.
Josh has got to do 14 locks on his own, so.
Yeah. And going to cruise to Catherine de Barnes onto the Grand Union Canal, past Star City. And, that's a bit we haven't done, so that'll be new waters.
Yeah.
And then up Camp Hill.
So it's going to be nice.
Yeah, so
well, let's hope the weather gets a bit nicer.
14 locks, so that's good.
Well, this is the map of the UK Canal Network. Everything in red is what we cruised before. Now we're here down on the Birmingham and Fazley Canal at Curdworth. We'll be setting off from Curdworth and heading into the metropolis of Birmingham almost immediately when we get to Minworth locks. There's 3 locks there, which will take us to a junction with 4 different ways to go. This time we'll be going on the Grand Union, which is the last bit of the Grand Union we haven't done before, so we'll finally be completing it. Heading out the Garrison locks where we reach another junction, which will then take us to Camp Hill, where we'll go up 6 more locks at the top of Camp Hill, and we'll end today's video, and we'll continue in the next video, part 2, because it's such a long day, making this cruise about 7 miles and 14 locks. Let's go. Sorry about the weird GoPro position in this video. I believe I couldn't find the screw to put it on its mounting at the front, so I had to just put it on top of the boat. There's a nice pub here called The Boat, and it's quite a popular stop off. There's plenty of moorings outside of it too, and I assume it's quite a safe mooring. When we turned the corner at Minworth locks, we were surprised to see that we had already been beaten to the locks by not one but two boats ahead of us. Not a great start for a long day, but Mum decided to go do the locks because she was cold, and she asked the direction the boats were going, and they were actually going to Gas Street Basin along a different route than us, so that was good news to hear. Making things even slower was the fact that this lock only had one paddle, but it was only a shallow lock, so it didn't take too long to fill up anyway. Taylor's Bridge, what a brutalist monstrosity of a bridge that is. We were actually quite surprised to see that there was a hire boat, a Black Prince, coming down the next lock.
Camera.
I just love how they covered up this abandoned building with a advertisement sign. So instead of ripping down the building and costing the council loads of money, they could instead put up this and earn more money from that, instead of losing money. What a great idea. For some reason the canal gets really narrow through here, coincidentally at a tight bend too. We're going under a building now, but it's quite dark and creepy under here. You don't know what goes on at night down here. You know, I thought they'd put in lights as it is, you know, a city. And there it is, the M6 overpass. Spaghetti Junction is just further down. We won't be going past that today as we'll be coming off before that. We're now at Salford Junction and we're turning off here at the first left. Now if you keep going a little tiny bit further, there is another turn off on the left and you can continue going forward. We've already done the other two routes, we haven't been down here before. And now this is the old Birmingham and Warwick Junction Canal, which is now known as the start of the Grand Union, when the Grand Union Canal amalgamated this canal. Now immediately when we turn on here we go over an aqueduct, and this is over the River Tam, which is further up the same river we went over on the aqueduct in Tamworth in the last video. So you'll notice on this canal that the locks are actually narrow, even though it's the Grand Union Canal. Now originally the whole Birmingham and Warwick Canal was completely narrow, and Hatton Flight was actually a narrow lock flight. But when it amalgamated with the Grand Union, most of the locks were widened, except for the locks on this canal and on the 6 locks at Camp Hill, because they didn't really see the point in widening the locks when the entire Birmingham Canal network was all narrow locks, so the wide beams had nowhere to go. So instead all wide beams would go to the top of Camp Hill locks and turn around there, offloading their stuff, so a big wharf. And although we tried to do this canal in the spring, but a lock broke on the Camp Hill flight, we're finally able to do it, and this is one of the reasons we're coming up here, to finally finish the Grand Union for good. This graffiti is a sign of things to come. You may be wondering what all this construction is to the left of the boat. Now this is another spot where there will be yet another HS2 viaduct over the canal here. When we made it to the first lock of the flight, we were happy to see that it was on our side and the boats hadn't gone our way. It was also quite fun to experience some locks I hadn't done before. It is safe to say that there is a lot of urban decay through this area. Quite a depressing and dull, apocalyptic landscape around here.
surrounded by trains.
And then this random guy you can see on the right here just came up to me, and Mum just started talking gibberish. We had no idea what the hell he was on about, but he was clearly on some stuff and he was messed up. He was crazy. Thankfully he did eventually leave us alone. And you do feel quite safe on a boat sometimes, as long as you don't come to a point where you have to get off, like a lock or a lift bridge or a swing bridge. Then I saw another one of the friendly locals, a rat. Coming through this canal, I just get a sense of, you know, everyone's just given up in this area. I'm trying to make this area nice. The overgrowth and the rubbish, it's just, yeah, it's not a very nice place to go through, and I wouldn't recommend it. But what I will say is, it is an experience, and it is totally different from, you know, cruising the Llangollen or anything like that. But I'm not here to badmouth Birmingham. I love the BCN, I absolutely adore it. I find it so much different than anything else, and it's just a great adventure just going around all the canals. But the difference is quite jarring. And I certainly wouldn't want to moor up here or be anywhere near here at night, because you can just see by all the graffiti what kind of things go on down here. And now we're coming onto a canal that we've actually cruised before, just below Camp Hill Lock Flight here. Now the lock landing is actually just past the cast iron bridge, although to get to it you have to reverse, so it's better off just trying to drop off one of your crew, although there's no bollards. And you sort of had to skirt against the wall to try and get past, and you know, there's only enough room for 1 foot, so it's kind of dodge and there's nothing to hang on to. We were quite pleased to see that there was another boat coming down, which was great news. That meant the locks are going to be on our side again. Another broken paddle meant a slow rise on this one, but the locks were on our side, so we were ahead anyway. This one had a broken pedal too, but it was empty, so no problems there. And then noticed a horrible smell, and then I saw where the smell was coming from. It looked like meat just chucked in the bush here, but I couldn't describe to you what meat it was. It looked like nothing I've ever seen. It was disgusting, and God knows why it's there. Some of the things that go on at night here, I imagine. The canal route had clearly been rerouted here because of the new road that goes over it. You immediately come out the lock and you can't turn, and the front of the boat hits the bushes because we're so long. So what I had to do is pull the boat round myself. As it's very, very, very wide, and the canal almost does a 180-degree turn to go up the next lock. It's cool to see that there's some businesses going on in the arches of this viaduct here. This brought me flashbacks to the spring when Dad was struggling to do this turn as well, but he was going back and forth and back and forth. Luckily Mum didn't have such a fierce wind this time, so it was a bit easier for her to do. To our surprise, another boat was coming down, which was great. Well, that's all the locks done for today, so I decided to go in the weed hatch and finally clear the weed hatch of that bloody knocking sound. And I found out what it was eventually, but I was honestly surprised that we were still moving. Rope. Rope. No, I can't snap that. I got it off. Loads of stuff, look at that. Oh. I mentioned this before, and in the spring me and Dad intended to stop off at the facilities point here, the water point and the rubbish and the safe mooring, but the teenagers had found a way in and they completely wrecked and ruined the place, and I think the CRT have completely given up on this facilities point now.
Right, we're at the top of Camp Hill on the Grand Union.
In fact, those last 5 were...
We're on our side?
Yeah, we're on our side.
Well, so was the last? No.
And also about... We have two boats coming down, going down.
So that one ran a lot better.
Both of them said, the first one said, oh, you're the first boat we've seen all morning. Then the second boat said, oh, you're the first boat we've seen all morning. Exactly the same. Very, very quiet on here.
Yeah. But yeah, we made it up Camp Hill, which went very well because all the locks on our side. And yeah, did that little arm. I think it's the Warwickshire Junction Canal. Yeah, it was nothing spectacular, but it was a bit we hadn't done before. Mum hadn't seen any of this anyway.
And it's just, well, Josh probably showed you what was in the prop.
Yeah, we were barely moving. I know what I was tanging. It was like it's got a metal thing on the end. That was hitting against the boat as we were going along. So yeah, a lot of stuff on there. I got it all off, and we're going good now. Hopefully we don't get more around it, but this is why I left it till now, because it's not as bad up here.
Oh,
but it is bad.
That lock, when you turned and went on that next section.
Oh my god.
God, the bottles.
I didn't even like it.
Plastic bottles and the rubbish. So sad to see. It really is. I feel like getting a bit dead, getting all out, but
point.
Next day it'll probably be the same.
They don't care, these kids. These teenagers don't care.
Shame.
Yeah, we're on the Grand Union. We're going to cruise to Catherine de Barnes, maybe a little bit further, because we get water then. To the water point. No, everyone's coming to the front for an inspection now on the way. Yeah, so far so good. Having lunch about 1 o'clock, and we've got about 7 or 8 miles, maybe 9, 10 to go.
Hello.